So hello and welcome back to the Unforced Error. We're here this evening to recap the quarterfinals and look ahead to the semi-finals. So four players left in both sides of the draw. It's hard to believe. We've had some great quarterfinals here. So we'll start off with the women's. Then we'll talk about the men's. And as I said, we'll just pick a few games, have a quick chat through them, and we'll look ahead to the semi-finals. First off, in the women's, Sabalenka beat Krejcikova handily enough. She had great variety in her shots. It's not just power; it's the way she's constructing points now that's very impressive. And I feel like she's improving kind of one thing at a time. And I don't remember seeing her with that variety and the angles she's able to get, especially on her forehand. It's not just banging it down the line. There was some shots where she was kind of receiving deep, but able to put some top spin on it and send it to the side. Rajikova looked very disappointed at the end, and is probably just a bit kind of dumbfounded after probably not getting as close to her as she nearly would have liked. So all credit to Sabalenka, and she will play Coco Gauff, who bet Kostyuk in a different type game. Kostyuk played very well. They both played very well. A few tie breaks. The first two sets were tie breaks and went to a decider then. And Coco Gauff ultimately, I think, just had the experience and her, probably wasn't at the top of her game, but mentally fought very hard. And Kostyuk has got to be happy, I think, to make a quarter final here, and she will expect more of that from herself going forward as well. So as disappointing is for her now, she lost to the reigning US champion and Coco Gauff, even though, as I said, two very young players but with a lot of experience. So I think we'll see this match up a lot in the future, possibly further apart from each other because Kostyuk will probably get better seeded now after this. Then on the other kind of the second half, Jasna Strejka bet Noskova, continuing her great run. And, I suppose everyone on this side is delighted to be here now. And also with that comes a bit of pressure, trying to capitalize on a big opportunity here. Again, has a very appealing game, and she will play Shang Tsung Wen, who bet Kalnaskaya in the other semi final, and again, show great fortitude, came behind, and will be, wanting to, there's a bit of pressure on her now, I guess. She's still seated 12th in the world, and there's a lot of storylines about Li Na, who was the last champion, as her compatriot, who's here now as well. So it's a big story for China. So she will play Jasna Strejka. So two big opportunities here, and so you have the more experience with Arena and Coco, but then I think very compelling for different reasons on this side as well. Then we turn to the men. Novak beat Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz got a set off him, but just couldn't live with him right to the end, and probably as expected. But Taylor Fritz kind of got to decide what he's got to do if he wants to go that extra little bit. He's probably going to have to make a few changes to the game, his training. He said he can handle it for the first 2-3 sets, but it's handling for 4 or 5. And somehow Djokovic is still able to do that at this late stage in his career. Yannick Sinner beat Rublev. Yannick Sinner is playing amazing. Rublev fought as hard as he always does, but there's a confidence about Sinner now. His movement is amazing. The way he's seeing the game, he's really thinking through points. And I think if he's got a chance against Djokovic, he's got to use his mind. He's got to selectively pick where he's going to go. And if he can keep that movement up for 5 sets, he hasn't been run off his feet too much. And especially if Djokovic is still a little bit under the weather, he might favour himself in there. But I think he's got to stick to his game plan and play to his strengths. But think about shots, think about what's going to hurt Djokovic at different points. And he's got a great team behind him, and you never know, this could be the breakthrough for him. Medvedev beat Hurkacz in a kind of big serving game in another long game for Medvedev, but he's playing again with a lot of confidence, and he will play Alexander Zverev, who beat Alcaraz, which was kind of the big shock. A shock, if you will. Zverev is pretty much back to his best before that Roland Garros injury in the quarterfinal against Nadal in 2022, and he deserves a lot of credit for getting back to the powers that he's at. His serve's amazing. His numbers on serve are pretty amazing, and they've been consistent from kind of the first round to playing Alcaraz today. Alcaraz had a late surge in the third set to bring it to a fourth, but he was out hit today. Thought he handled himself very well in defeat. Obviously that's a big shock. He's the number 2 seed he would be expecting. I think we're all jumping to a Novak Alcaraz final before we even saw it. But a great game of tennis. Two big hitters, a lot of respect for each other, and I'm just very impressed with how Alcaraz lost as well, because there's so much asked of him, and I just think it's a great sportsmanship that he showed throughout the game as well, and just accepted that sometimes you're beaten by a better player. So that's it for the quarterfinals, and as I said, we've outlined the semi-finals there. So on to the semi-finals now. The women are on in the night session tomorrow, so it's about in the morning in more European time, and then the men will go on Friday, and then we'll have the finals on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, thanks for listening. A quick article about Carlos Alcaraz and his game today. I'm always more compelled sometimes by the loser than the winner. But there's a quick article about him in the show notes if you're interested. Okay, thanks a million. Bye now.